Greetings, I'm Rodger Newbold, and welcome to episode 20 of Experience Photography. My fellow photographer, my partner, my editor, and for this and every episode is Matt Rich. He's the man with the thunder in his fingers that makes this whole thing work. I just saw Matt coming down the corridor. Are you there yet?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right. There we go. In our most recent past vlog, we spoke of imaging using reflections as the subject matter. We listed 6 major considerations to look at and to take account and use them to generate more, stunning images. We really hope that this time of the year will provide the incentive to go out and to make magic in a puddle, or reflecting off a Christmas ornament, or whatever. Come on, push that fun button and let's get things moving. Now, a few weeks ago, you may remember my ill-fated attempt at our first location shot. This short was meant to be an introduction to today's episode in using in-camera movement, or ICM. We breached the idea of camera motion back in episode 17 about abstracts. And so today we're going to take a deeper dive into the subject matter. We're going to start with number 1, spontaneous action. Now, first off, let's look at figure number 1 by Gary Winogrand. Now, this is an excellent example of spontaneous action. Put yourself in the place of the greatest action and then be ready to get it. These examples are the easiest method of motion capture. You just have to be observant and ready. When crazy stunts happen, you capture it. What I mean is to be ready is that you have to think. You have to determine, what is the exposure going to be? What kind of shutter speed do I need for whatever action's taking place in front of me? Anticipate the focal length and set the camera and have it pointed in the preferred direction. Not just standing there with a camera looped around your neck or wrist. Take a look at figure 2. Here's another good example. Now, setup action is number 2. It's also very easy to anticipate the action, so it can be captured in camera. So let's look at figure number 3. Yeah, you get the action all ready to go. You make all your determination, maybe a couple even test shots to get there, and then bam, figure number 3. There you are. Take a look at figure number 4. This reveals that even a landscape with moving water fills the capturing motion in camera idea. But come on, try harder than that. Think outside the little teeny box. Let's try zeroing and zooming. Oh, there you go. The zooming maneuver is a reasonably straightforward method of capturing in-camera movement. It is more dynamic, if the subject is well lit and if the background is either darker or lighter, so there's a noticeable difference that you can see what's going on. All you have to do is get the shutter speed slow enough to allow time to zoom the camera in action. In order to do that, the slowest shutter speed, to get the slow shutter speed in daylight, I used the slowest ISO my camera was capable of delivering, and that was ISO 100. Then I also used the smallest f-stop that was possible to cut down on the brightness, that being f22. Then I employed a neutral density filter, also known as the ND, which we've talked about before. In today's case, I utilized a Singh Ray, that's the manufacturer, Variable ND. The density of this filter can be manipulated to a darker status by twisting the outer ring of the filter. However, a standard fixed density ND will work just as well. If you're shifting exposure conditions within a fixed density filter, after the aperture is achieved correct exposure, with a variable ND, you can change the variable density ring on the filter for any kind of quick changes in subtle lighting. And you can change the f-stop on the camera or the shutter speed if you're using a fixed filter, and you're fine. All right, let's take a look at figure 5. Oh boy, it's me again. There may be a difference of appearance if you zoom from wide to long versus focused or zooming from long to wide. Don't stop with just one shot. Try to capture the whole setting, and by all means, never just do one and be done. Check out figure number 6. The past 2 zoom shots were at f22, 1 1/2 seconds, of course handheld. Now, a tripod, again, will change the look and feel of your picture. So you choose whatever motion you want. Number 4, let's take a look at this. Spinning out of control. I do this a lot. Spinning or twisting the camera during long shutter speed makes for a pretty neat picture. On the other hand, you do need more planning. Rotating the camera body requires that you know which direction to go and where to start the exposure and where to end. Look at the subject closely. Make your choices, and then bam, you push the button. Look at figure 7. I enjoy doing rotary motion, especially when there are bystanders watching you. They're often perplexed. They see this nut out in the field spinning his camera. At the very least, they're going to come up to you and ask, what are you doing there? Why are you doing that? I just explain that creativity comes in many different bags, and I'm just a big one. Let's take a look at figure number 8. All right. Now, interpretive disruption is number 5. The ascending angel is figure number 9. All camera settings were the same. The action was one sweeping motion with the camera upwards, and that gave action to 9. In figure 9B, you take a look at that. Now, in figure 10, I took a diagonal flight across the frame. You may notice that I got slow at the start, and then the camera movement left, and it left a strong image with only a bit of motion or moment of that motion showing. Figure 11 discloses a simple, slow shutter speed handheld. This treatment reminded me of the Civil War. It reminded me of the look of the monument. It was my interpretive decision. Could have used a tripod, would have looked a little bit different. But I wanted to show that time and age in figure number 11. Now, let's take a look at figure 12. This is the slow walk. Kind of Monty Python thing. It appears that I am something coming up out of the ground, but we'll leave plenty of room for the viewer and his analysis on this one. Had my actions been any faster, I would have not left any digital impression at all. Now, you've probably witnessed in historical images when the township was photographed, the streets appear empty of all people. Extremely long shutter speeds will fail to register anything that is moving. And it's a really interesting effect. For example, you're visiting a particular tourist attraction, full of bustling visitors going everywhere. Choose or create a shutter speed around, 30 seconds. Put the camera on a tripod. Zing! No people. So if you happen to get to the Taj Mahal or Bondi Bridge or the Met or wherever you're going, you can always try this out. And anything that's moving, out of your way. Now, figure number 13 exposes me as a chatterbox. Now, many people think my lips never stop moving. And and in this image, they're just nattering on as usual. Number 6, menu selected actions. In figure 14 is a true timer surprise. Oh, I love this. I set the camera self-timer to fire after a few seconds. Push the shutter release and then just start swinging the camera by the attached camera strap. I know. Takes a little leap of faith to go out there. Take a look at 14. It's pretty cool. Exciting activities abound in photography. More than ever when you're dealing with in-camera movement. I mean, you can get all kinds of things. Now, how about really the larger test of courage and coordination? Set the shutter timer, toss the camera in the air, and attempt this with an older camera. Maybe have 6 or 7 off-camera camera catchers standing by. I would advise against doing this with your new digital Hasselblad. Ka-ching! But it's fun. You don't know what you're going to get. It's always exciting. Figure number 15 proves that you can be in more than one place at one time. I left the exposure set at the same, always about, 1.5 seconds, and I added one extra menu setting. I went into the menu and enabled multiple exposures and set it to do 5 clicks with one shutter button push. I also enabled high-speed drive action so it would just really let her rip. Take a look at 15. Pretty interesting. This technique can be used anytime to illustrate, a passage of time. You alone limit the imaginative solution. So, arouse those little gray cells inside your noggin. Think of something really cool, and then set about accomplishing it. Now, number 7 is panning. Figure 16 shows us pretty much how to keep a moving object sharp against a static background. That is an uncomplicated method for motion. You simply get the shutter speed down to a slow setting, approximately half to maybe 1.5 seconds. The only trick here is to swing the camera at the exact speed of the motion that is occurring as you push the button. Now, my first trials and in my experience when I've had others try this, soon as the viewfinder blacks out, photographers swinging along, it blacks out and they stop. They're so surprised. They cease following the subject, and that's the end of the experiment. Wrong. The solution is to look just over the top of the camera. maybe through the hot shoe prongs or just over the top of the camera. Maybe put a piece of tape there or something. Follow the action. And when the shutter is tripped, keep following the action with your little tape sight or whatever you're using until you hear the shutter close. And there you go. You've got something really cool. Now, figure 17. This really reveals the most difficult of the panning procedures. The full theory behind this requires a lengthy explanation, and I'll do it in another episode. But for today, let's just say you select a slow shutter speed and about a medium f-stop. Turn on your in-camera flash or add a flash on top of your camera system. Without a lot of explanation at this time, get a good exposure set for the foreground subject. Now, this may take you, 2 or 3 attempts to figure it out and get what you need, like 1 second at f8. Press the shutter button, swipe up or down, or spin the camera. The instant the flash fires, you'll see it in 17. The results will be a fixed image within a swirl. The flash fixes the foreground, while the dragging of the shutter and the slow shutter speeds allows all of the motion to happen around about. Suffice it to say that flash exposure is only regulated by f-stop, not shutter speed. And slow shutter speeds, slower than the camera's sync speed, any of them will work with this assignment. It's really pretty marvelous of what can happen. And only your imagination is limiting you in this regard. More future excitement ahead, so please stand by. I'll try to get to many of these things so that you can experiment with them. Every time we peer through that magic little eyepiece known as the camera, it has possibilities of transporting us to a new, enthralling location. It imparts to you a license to create as you please. Now, today we listed 7 major topics for you to try out. Like a 007 kind of thing. I believe you just have to jump in and be brave and give it a whirl. Try something. If it doesn't work, try it again. Who knows? It isn't about working. It's about having fun and finally finding that everything comes together. Well, my friends, our time's up today. And I and my friend Matt here certainly hope that we have given you a quality of powerful new ideas to try out. Something that will be of value to you. And if it has been, give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. And by all means, let your friends know that we offer experienced advice. And everybody can take advantage of this. Every photographer can have more fun. Every photographer can get involved. It helps them, helps you, helps our channel. We appreciate them all. So keep those comments coming. This, I hope, has been the best vlog you watched this week. As we tiptoe through the holidays, this gets a little sporadic, but I certainly hope that you have a lot of fun, that you have a lot of excitement, and until we meet again on this channel, we meet again on the screen. Cheerio, my friends.